Hi, good morning. This is Cheryl with Hirsch Parent Coaching. And today I'm going to be talking about transitioning out of the pandemic. I recently listened to a webinar from an organization called Children and Screens, and they really do a nice job, and I encourage you to go to their website. There's a link to their YouTube channel, and they have a number of videos that they've put together over COVID. So they're usually about an hour long, and really, I've listened to a number of them, and they're really good with a nice panel of experts on them. So there are a few things to think about. I know some people are doing great. There's no problem. They're transitioned really well. I keep thinking about the parents I worked with that were transitioning into the pandemic with kids being at home, working online, and trying to get work done. And now what I'm hearing from clients is that they're transitioning back to the normal world, which is really hard. Some kids are experiencing anxiety. Parents are just trying to cope with the hustle and bustle of being back on the road, traveling, being back in the office, and just juggling everything. So there's a lot going on. So I thought this was a perfect time to talk about transitioning out of the pandemic. And again, I know, some kids have been at school most of the year. Some have just gone back and are fine. And then some haven't gone back at all. So number one is I just really want parents to be kind to themselves. There is a lot going on. There's been a lot of transitions, and I'm just feeling a lot of stress from parents that I'm working with, and just in general. I know it's weird for me with some of the things I'm now doing, feeling safe now that I'm vaccinated. And so just be kind and know that this is another transition that you will get through. 2, how do we talk and support our children? For those kids that are feeling anxious, we don't want to pretend that everything's okay. Our world has changed. A lot of people have died. So we want to acknowledge and validate their feelings, and we really want to figure out if your child is experiencing some anxiety. What are the fears? What are the concerns? What is going on? And I know sometimes with kids of a certain age, it's hard to get them to communicate. But once we know what the fear or concern is, it's easier for us as the adult to address it. And again, oftentimes we kind of poo-poo, oh, it's not a big deal, you'll be fine. But it's really important not to diminish or minimize is the best word, minimize their concerns. Let them know that they're valid, you're there for them, and try to keep those lines of communication open. Next, this is a hard one. We all need to watch our media consumption. We've heard over and over again how parents have loosened up media. If it was a normal situation, parents probably wouldn't have bought their kids a phone or allowed them to use it. So again, as adults, we're on our devices a whole lot as well. So just try to start thinking about what is a healthy dose, what is good for us, what is doable, and let's start getting back to some of those healthy habits that we had. We want to keep informed as adults. We want to keep informed, know what's going on in the world, but really do a check to see, is it feeding you? Is it being helpful? Are these reliable sources? And if not, turn it off. That is number 3 under this category, is let's disconnect when it's not serving us well. It's all okay to unplug. And for those of you in families, make time from dinner on where you're unplugged, no phones or those kind of things. But think about, of course, what works for you. And then finally, we need to align our expectations with reality. There's been a lot of talk, what kids have missed, can they catch up? And I think a lot of that remains to be seen. And the kids will be okay. We're all going to be okay, but we have to be realistic. The world has changed. We don't know, I don't believe exactly how or what will be permanent, but we just want to be realistic with our expectations. And I know sometimes that's hard for us as parents to do. And keep in mind that this year, there has been a lot of other kinds of learning going on other than academic. Our kids are growing their toolbox. We're helping them grow their toolbox and our own, whether it's a winter storm or a pandemic. But we are helping our kids build that toolbox to be resilient and to be able to navigate those lumps and bumps of life with their toolbox so they will grow up to be thriving, competent, responsible adults. So again, there is a transition going on as we go back to the world, and it looks different for every family. Just think about addressing your kids' anxiety and fears, concerns, thinking about media consumption. What is a healthy dose? When do we need to unplug? And also aligning our expectations with reality. We need a reality check here. We're all going to be okay, and just need to be realistic. So I would love, as I always say, I would love to hear from you if you are experiencing some transitions and not sure how to navigate those, or maybe you have a tool where you've navigated it well. Please share. Would love to hear from you. Take care.